welcome back everyone. You're watching Foreman's Basement. My name is Frank. Taking a look today at the Lee Oskar harmonica. It's a 10-hole diatonic made by Tombo in Japan. And they're pretty cool little harps. I got some mixed opinions on them, but I just wanted to run through those with you guys. Despite my mixed opinions, these are very cool harps. And I guess we'll just jump right in. I have one here in B flat. And as you can see, the positions are labeled on the side. So you get first position labeled on your left side, second position on the right side. This is very helpful for beginners, if you don't know what key to play in, or... I know for me, when I first started, I didn't really understand first and second position. I didn't know... it's hard to just jump into something like that. So it's nice that Lee Oskar has that clearly labeled for you. Most of the times we're playing in second position, and, obviously that's a different key than the harmonica's in, so it's very, very helpful. Especially if you don't have them memorized, all of the second positions, they're right there for you. So yeah, this is very similar to a Special 20, I would say. You got a plastic comb, brass reed plates, brass reeds, what I assume are stainless steel cover plates. You can see the bottom engraving there. Tombo. I actually played with a Japanese exchange student for a while. He was a guitar player, but he came over one time to jam, and he had some of these in his guitar case, so I thought that was cool. Except those were Tombos, not Lee Oskar. I think here in the States you can get Lee Oskar, and if you go to Japan, they're Tombo, but it's all under the same brand. It's all Tombo at the end of the day. And it's cool. They have these... I never actually got an answer on what these little notches are for, if anyone knows. I think you're supposed to, stack them together. I know the cases interlock for these, and I don't have the cases because... when it comes to harmonica cases, I tend to just throw them away as soon as I get them, so I don't have that to show you guys, but they're very cool. Now, another thing that I wanted to mention, and this is really important, these harmonicas are readily available. That means if you walk into a music store, you can get them. And not only that, they're also available in a wide range of different tunings, low harps. This one right here is this is the low F. And, for me, I've had a lot of trouble... if I walk into a music store, very rarely is there going to be a Hohner Thunderbird or a Hohner Rocket Low, or even a Seidel Low, like anything. I just haven't found low-tuned harps in the stores. Lee Oskar has been one of the only ones that I've found, and at a fair price, too, because a lot of these low harps, you pay a lot of money. I mean, go try to buy a Hohner Thunderbird. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Those things are like $140. You can, at the very least, try a low tuning for the very reasonable price of $40 to $50. I assume that they've kept that price point. Couldn't have gone up that much. And so it's really nice if you want to try. I mean, again, this was my first time ever. This was my first low F, my first time playing a low F. And I was able to just walk right down the street from my dad's house and just buy this at the local music store. And it also wasn't too expensive. And this one in particular played very well. Now... speaking of which, I do think that the quality control is pretty awful because, like I said, this Lee Oskar I've had a long time. I've had this at least 3 or 4 years. It plays very good for what it is and for the price. This is the low F here. Now, I recently, last year, went out and bought a Lee Oskar in B flat just to give it a chance because I had never really tried the regular standard diatonics, and I thought, well, let me give it a shot. And this is what I played at the beginning of the video. I have to tell you guys right now, this is a very unresponsive harmonica. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and say this is the worst B flat I've had in my life. When I'm bending a note on this, I might not show it externally, but I am struggling internally. This is without a doubt the worst B flat I've ever had. I even tried to do some gapping on it. It takes the place of what was before the worst B flat I had ever had, which, believe it or not, was actually... a Marine band, one of the old school Marine bands. I think I've talked about this in a video. I walked into B&H Music in Escondido and I was looking for a B-flat Marine band, and the guy couldn't find one, and then he's like, wait, hold on. And he comes back out and he just kind of sighs and goes, this has been here for a very long time. And when I opened it, it's one of the old ones from like the 90s, or well, I don't know, I think they stopped making these in the 2000s with the black back and the yellow front. I have to assume it's from the 90s because this Marine band plays terribly. I've only held on to it because one day I intend to salvage this comb and maybe, I don't know. If I ever get into, being a harpsmith, I'm definitely going to open this up and try to hot rod it, just make it play better. But before, this had been the worst B flat I've ever tried, but Now that I've had this one, it makes this one seem pretty playable in comparison. Especially on that 2-draw and the 3-draw, extremely, extremely airy. To get those bends, it's possible, but again, your muscles are just working way harder than they should. I was so disappointed when I took this home. Because I had a great experience with this one, with the one in low F. Now, granted, these are from two different eras. Actually, if you'll take a look, I think that this one might have also been sitting in the store for a while not because it's all scratched up, but if you look carefully at the engraving on the cover plate, they are actually different. This one, the B flat says TM. This one has a little, what is that, a copyright logo? I don't know, all rights reserved. And it's just ever so slight design, so you can tell that some time passed in between the manufacturing of both of these. It could also just be a fluke, like I could go out and buy another B flat Lee Oskar and it could be great. Same thing as the side L. I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to buy any more Lee Oskars. I'm just at a point in my playing where I really like my Honers. I'm going to stick with them. The only way I would ever see myself buying another Lee Oskar is maybe for a low key, because again, this one did play very well, but I bought two of them. One was good, one was very bad. So now, granted, you could always open it up and do some gapping. I attempted to, and I'm sure if you're a harpsmith, you could take this shitty B flat and make it play pretty good. But I like to judge these things out of the box, and I don't do any crazy amount of reed work on my harmonicas, just basic gapping. I have the tools to do embossing and all of that stuff, but I just never got around to it. Especially like if I'm playing a marine band, I just don't feel the need to. It's more of the other models that I'm trying to make them play like marine bands. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. So, you got the low tunings available. Actually, I don't think I've played this low one. Okay, pretty terrible on those 3-draw bends. Again, that's my fault, or maybe this thing needs to be retuned. But as far as the flexibility of the reed, being able to control the reed, it's actually really nice, especially for a low harp. I have a feeling I could buy a Honer, and it might play a little better than this, but not that much. Honestly, I'm really impressed, and especially, again, for a low-tuned harmonica, it's got those, sorry, turn off the echo there. It's got those very heavy reeds. If this falls on the floor, you will hear it. You will hear that dissonant F chord. So again, you're kind of going to have to take a chance as far as quality control is concerned, which is the same thing as a marine band. I'm not trying to pretend like it's not. But anyway, so we talked about the low tunings. Again, great tone, pretty good controllability on the bends. Another thing that needs to be mentioned is different tunings. So they come in... we have the regular diatonic, right? They have the melody maker, which is great for like single note playing. Then they have the natural minor and the harmonic minor as well. So these are options that, like I said, it's important to have them. They're readily available. I'm not saying these are the best harmonicas, but they're very fairly priced. Again, this B flat could have been a fluke. I feel like maybe if I sat down and worked on this for a little bit, I could get it to play better. And it's not wholly unplayable, right? Like, I mean, you see me playing it. It just doesn't feel very good to play, but I can play it if I need to. It's just not great. I mean, and again, I'm talking about the B flat to the low F plays a little bit better, but again, these different tunings, that's not something that you're going to find readily available on the market, especially in store, so that kind of makes them worth it in a sense. Also, something that has to be mentioned here, the reeds are replaceable, right? So where Honer has the, Honer has the riveted reeds. I probably could have opened this up to see. Yeah, they do. It does look like they have rivets, but they sell the individual reeds. Sorry, you can't see in there. They do sell the individual reeds. So what does that mean? That means if, let's say you've been playing it for a while, the 2-draw, which is your your home note, your bass note for second position. Let's say that goes flat, or you get reed fatigue, the reed cracks, right? You can actually go online and order the reed, replace it yourself. I haven't done it. I can't tell you if it's easy or not, but I do remember watching a video on it a while back, and it seemed relatively intuitive. So that's really important. I wish that Hohner did that. I can't tell you how many marine bands I could have saved if I could have just replaced one reed, or special 20s, whatever. It's always would be so nice if replacing reeds was as easy as Lee Oskar makes it, and that had to be mentioned. Okay, they're tuned to 441 plus. I don't know what that means, but if you're a musician, you probably do. The marine bands in comparison are tuned to A440. I don't know how well you can see that there. Yeah, there we go. Wow, I just found out that this thing kind of focuses when I put the stuff on top. You can see how dirty that is. I'm going to have to start showing these a little up close. I'm not crazy about the cover plate design. I've talked about this, that the cover plate engravings are never lost on me, but this is pretty basic. I mean, it's not bad by any chance, but again, you compare it to something like a marine band where you need a magnifying glass to see some of those engravings, and it's in different language. I mean, you don't even know what's going on in there. And as time goes on, they replace some of these little emblems. I know because I have different marine bands that have different things on the emblems on them. So again, you're never going to get as good as a marine band. That's what I'm always going to compare it to. This is the standard which we're going to hold everything up towards. And honestly, it's not too bad. I could probably have a more definitive opinion if I went out and bought a brand new Lee Oskar and just maybe opened it on camera and did a little video. But, not bad. Better than, a Hot Metal, better than an Ironworks, right? Many people respect Lee Oskar as a competent harmonica company, and I don't blame them. Like I said, they're pretty decent. I know a guy at the Blues Jams that plays Lee Oskars. They're not for me. I also wanted to mention, you do have the recessed reed plates and pretty big holes, like close to the size of the Rocket. I'd say bigger than the Special 20, smaller than the Rocket, but pretty decently sized chambers in there. Again, me personally, I don't care for that, but some people out there do. So I wanted to mention that. I'm just so used to the marine band, it's really hard to get away from it. But these are really cool harps. The look on them is decent. They're pretty durable. This low F, I've had it. This thing has been through the mill. I mean, this thing, like I said, I've had this a few years. It's the only low F I have. Anytime on stage that I need to play an F harmonica, most of the time I'll just bust out this because look, I have a regular F here and it's just very shrill. It's just very loud, very shrill. I don't particularly care for that sound. Meanwhile, I can play in the same key one octave lower and it's a much more mellow sound. So overall, pretty decent. I know I've complained a lot about the B flat, but again, I'm hoping deep in my heart that's just a quality control issue. Or even without the quality control, I think if I put my mind to it and try to gap and emboss and all of that, we could probably get this to play pretty decent. If all of them were held to the standard as this low F came out, I would say these are pretty damn decent harmonicas. Obviously, in my own experience, I cannot say that to be true because the B flat was terrible. So leaky, so hard to control the reeds. Okay, one last thing I'll do here before I go. We'll do a quick sound comparison between the B flat Lee Oskar and the B flat Marine Band. I got a messed up blow 4 hole on here. That needs to be warmed up. I opened it up and took a look at it and I couldn't see anything wrong with it. And it's a marine band, so they're kind of hard to open, so I'm not going to bother. Alright, let me think of a riff that I can play on both of these. I guess I'll just do the blue prelude that I was doing at the beginning. Sorry, put the echo on that so we can really get this sensation. See, right there. You hear that? I was choking. I was literally like, there just wasn't, it was too much bending force being applied, and the reeds weren't moving, so it's frustrating, but let's try that again. Now I'm going to try to play the same thing here. Okay, so we talked about the interlocking cases, the replaceable reeds, the first and second position that are labeled, the different tunings. They're readily available, tuned in 441 plus, and available in diatonic, melody maker, natural minor, and harmonic minor. Okay, guys, that's it. Those are my opinions. They're decent enough. If you're lucky to get a good one, I would say it's worth the money. Ultimately, my personal decision, I would just go for a Hohner. That's just me. Again, this B-flat came out terrible, so keep that in mind. I have blues harps, I have big rivers that play better than this, and this is a more expensive harp. But, again, readily available, decent reputation, they've definitely been around a while, and again, interlocking cases, replaceable reeds, the positions are marked, different tunings, readily available. Check them out, guys, if you need, I don't know, a low F. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you next time.